Hi, it's Sunshine Vagabonds, and we have returned from our trip to Europe and wanted to touch base on our stay in Barcelona. It was one of my favorite cities. We actually spent 2 nights there. We stayed in what is called the Gothic area.
It's the old part?
Yeah, it's the old part, and to me, there are 2 different sections, but to me this has a nicer vibe than the expansion, as they call it.
100%. Yeah, it's got a cool, old European city vibe to it. And like Jackie said, there are other sections called the expansion, is where they expanded the city more recently. And it's much more modern and not as cool as the Gothic section. So we'd say stay in the Gothic section.
Yes.
And specifically, our hotel was maybe a block off of La Rambla, which is like the main pedestrian walkway there. If you're staying there, be close to La Rambla. There's just a lot to do there. Checked out some shops, some cafes, some bars, and some of just the cool stuff on the street. You know, there's some art there and some fountains, and you found that memorial.
There was a area in La Rambla where there is kind of words in memorial for a terrorist attack that happened there, where a truck actually drove up and ran over and killed a whole bunch of people there a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's a nice way to remember those people. Yeah, so anyway, La Rambla is a great place to just explore. We also had some firm plans. Why don't you tell them about our 2 evening activities there?
Yeah, so we took in a flamenco show, which is, how would you describe it?
Well, it's a traditional show. I was expecting it would be kind of boisterous and loud and crazy, and the crowd would be all involved. It's not that.
No, it's very serious.
Yeah, we did the Tableau Cordobas show. They sort of interpret old poems and new poems on the fly.
And sometimes it sounds like they're yelling at each other, but actually we don't even really know what they are saying to each other, but
it's in Spanish.
Yeah, but it's a very good production.
Yeah, so I guess the best way to say the flamenco part of it is it's talented guitarists, and talented dancers, all sort of working this improv to tell a story or series of stories to the crowd. And the tableau format, you're super close to the stage. It was interesting. It was really neat to see, and the talent on the stage was pretty impressive. But we didn't have a clue what they were singing and telling us about. But you could feel and sense the emotion on the stage.
Yeah, it was cool. I definitely recommend going to one. And the dinner beforehand was pretty awesome. It was buffet style, but it was all Spanish foods and Spanish wine and beer.
And they had desserts. We had a little piece of octopus in the buffet. And how about the paella there?
Yes, that was excellent.
It was excellent. But what about the shrimps? They weren't decapitated.
That's true. You were a little freaked out about that.
Yes, they had all their little legs and face and everything. Not the best buffet I ever had, but a great way to sample Spanish food.
And speaking of Spanish food, the other thing we did was we took a cooking class.
Wow, that's an amazing segue.
Oh, thanks. And that was a 4-hour class. It's a small class. I think there was only 6 of us. You're immersed in making everything from the gazpacho, which is like a soup, cold soup. It had watermelon in it. Then we had a potato omelet with a tomato bread, which I thought was really interesting how they made their tomato bread. They kind of just took a tomato and rubbed it on the bread, and it was excellent. Then we made a chicken paella.
It's easy for you to say.
Yeah, that's and also a creme catalana, which is like a creme brulee.
It is. It's their spin on it. Everything was delicious. Like the cold soup, the gazpacho, the guy described it before we started cooking, and I'm like, I am not going to be eating that. But I tried some, and I ate half my bowl. It was pretty interesting. Yeah, so you have a chef in there, and he shows you how to do everything, lets everybody get involved in different phases of it. We were all everybody was up there a couple of different times. He was entertaining, and he was a good chef. Was that better or the flamenco show? If you were only there one night, which one would you recommend?
Wow. I think the flamenco show, because I feel like you can do cooking classes in many places, but flamenco is strictly Spanish.
All right, that's fair. They were both good. Go 2 nights so you don't have to make the decision and do both of them.
There you go.
We'll have
Problem
the 2 places we attended. We'll have them in the comment section if you want to go. Neither one of them were so amazing that you couldn't do that thing somewhere else, but they were both good, and we would go back to both of the places. So far, we haven't talked about what we did during the daytime other than wander La Rambla. We had 2 activities. One of them we didn't get to do because it rained crazy. Do you want to try to pronounce that?
Montjuic?
That's pretty close, yeah. So I saw it was Montjuic.
Montjuic.
Which is a castle with beautiful views of the city and of the port, which is right near our cruise ship. But the day we were going to go there, the weather was horrible. You could take a sky ride up to the top, which in itself would be a pretty cool trip. Then there's some hiking when you get to the top of the hill. And then you can also see the castle. The other day we had an amazing tour.
Yeah, it was kind of pretty much Gaudi related. Everything we saw was, of course, the La Família.
Well, before you go to La Família, let's talk about who Gaudi is.
Who is Gaudi?
He's an amazing architect and designer. And his theme seemed to be to try to make things more natural and earthly when he designed his stuff. And they're like the buildings he designed and the park he designed and the church he designed are like things we have never seen anywhere else on the planet. And they were awesome to look at.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Stunning.
Our tour started at 9:00 and at like 8:58 I'm like, hey, we're here. And he's like, yeah, our tour doesn't start till 9:00, Bob. So anyway, he shows up at exactly 9:00 and I'm like, where's everybody else? And he's like, you signed up for a private tour, which we didn't even realize. But the fact that we had him to ourselves was awesome.
Yeah, it was so incredible. We'll put his name and contact information in here.
His name was Alan. He was great. I would 100% recommend him to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, not only was he so knowledgeable, but he was funny.
Yeah.
He had some funny things to say. He took us to, like some places that I don't know if it was a big tour, if he would have taken us to. He
also shared more than Gaudi. He talked about a lot of things. Talked about, he pointed out the wall there that was 2,000 years old. Talked about their political history, the thoughts that are going on in the country these days. Just a lot of information and some of their, sort of sorted and checkered past. We took a nice leisurely walk across the city, saw a lot of cool things. All right, so we're not going to get too deep into what we did with Alan because we're going to do a whole video on that. But we started out walking around the city. We saw a couple of Gaudi's creations. As we did that, a couple of the buildings from the outside, we got to check them out. And it ended at
La Sagrada Família.
And we didn't go into that building with Alan. He gave us a nice lecture or a nice whatever outside the building, explaining what was going on there, got us to the front of the line, said goodbye, and we went inside and explored that on our own time. And then after that...
Parkway.
Not
Parkway, Park...
Güell. Which is...
Guell?
Yes, very nice.
Okay.
That's exactly it. But that's another Gaudi creation it's just amazing.
Yeah.
We went through that without a guide. We just kind of wandered aimlessly. We probably should have had more of a plan at that park because we were also tired from walking the whole day. But we saw a lot of really cool things as we walked through there. So that was our Gaudi day, and it was a long day.
Yes.
With a lot of walking, and we saw a lot of amazingness. So again, watch our other video if you want to get really deep into what we did with Alan, or a little bit deeper. All right, so that's all that we did, right? Am I missing anything? Yes, I am missing something. Remember that store we shopped in?
Yeah, I don't know if he'd intended on taking us into that store, but walking by it and I like did a double take. I was like, what is that?
Well, explain what you saw through the window.
I saw this guy.
But you turned him around. Right. That's what we saw. And the one we saw was life size. We're bigger. It was gigantic. And that's what the window decoration was. Do you want to try to pronounce the name of that store?
It's Caganer, it's just like it sounds. Just like I sound, Caganer.
Right. And then what was in the store other than this beautiful Christmas ornament that you purchased?
There's political figures, musicians, artists, movie stars, like everything you can think of is in this store. But they're all just like him, all with a little thing of poop behind his butt.
So there's a lot of history to this area of Barcelona that goes around these figurines. And they play a role in their Christmas celebration, which is pretty wild. But we'll let you go there to the store to learn more.
Yeah, you should check it out for sure. And right down the street from the Caganer store is also an awesome chocolate shop with good coffee and good chocolate.
All right, so I think that's what we did in Barcelona. I love the city. I want to go back. I think if we do, so let me ask you this question. If we go back to a cruise again that goes out of Barcelona, would you get there 2 days early or 3 days early?
Well, we already did a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
So,
all right, what if you've never done a cruise before?
3 days early.
Yeah, I think one more day would have been nice.
So we don't really know, like we didn't spend a whole lot of time in the expansion part. I don't know what basically is on that side.
Right.
Kind of like to investigate that side maybe a little more.
Yeah. So if you're doing a cruise, try to squeeze in 3 days in Barcelona, at least 2, and one of those days has to be focused on Antoni Gaudí if you've never seen his work before. All right, JQ, you had a bunch of tips you wanted to share with everybody.
I did. First off, I would stay in the Gothic quarter near the Rambla. And the hotel that we stayed at was Hotel España. It was very close, very good walking distance to La Rambla, as well as many other things. It was a historic hotel, had a wonderful breakfast included. So they do have Uber available. We did use Uber, but we did also just use a taxi, and we found that that was a little bit cheaper than Uber.
There's also another mode of transportation that was recommended to us called Free Now, and we downloaded that app, used it one time, and they never showed up. And finally, after many, many minutes of waiting, they said your ride could not be found. And they still charged us, which was, yeah, they did, which was nasty. So don't use Free Now.
Okay. Pickpockets are a big thing there. So wear your belongings on the front of you. Guys, put your wallet in the front. Girls, I had a front bag called a foldy bag. It's just got all kinds of safety features to it. Make sure you carry coins. Get coins for the loos. You always had to pay for a bathroom, so you want to carry some coins around that, and carry some toilet paper. A lot of them were not stocked with toilet paper.
And the other thing I'd add is that everywhere we went, I think, except for the toilets, took credit cards. All right, well, thanks for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, or if you're just feeling like being generous, give us a like and a subscribe and click the notification bell. Then go to Instagram and subscribe to us there. And then go to Facebook and follow us there. And that's it. We have nothing else you can do. How do you say goodbye in Spanish?
I was wondering. Sayonara.
Oh my gosh. Ciao.
No, it's not ciao.
Adios.
Adios.
I'm sticking with ciao. Ciao.
Adios.